Tips for creating and sticking to a budget. Creating and sticking to a budget can seem like a daunting task, but with the right tips, it can be much easier than you think. Here are 4 tips to help you get started. Determine your budget goals. Determining your budget goals is an essential first step in creating a financial plan. One key consideration when setting your budget is to assess your current income and expenses, as well as any changes that may have occurred recently or are likely to occur in the near future. To get a complete understanding of your current financial situation, it's important to keep detailed records of your income and expenses over an extended period, such as several months or years. This will allow you to identify patterns and trends, which can help you build more realistic budget goals based on your financial circumstances. Once you have a clear sense of your current finances, it's important to set some specific goals for yourself, such as reducing debt, saving for retirement, or building up an emergency savings fund. To decide how much money you should allocate towards these different priorities, it's helpful to enlist the help of a professional financial advisor who can offer advice tailored to your unique situation and needs. In addition, there are a number of online tools and resources available that can help guide you through the process of creating a successful budget plan. Regardless of how you choose to go about it, by taking the time to establish clear budget goals for yourself, you can be well on your way to developing a workable and effective financial plan. Track your expenses. When it comes to managing your finances, tracking your expenses is one of the most important steps. Having a clear sense of how much money you are spending on each category can help you to create a budget that is realistic and effective. To get started with this process, there are several tips you can follow. First, it is important to keep regular track of your expenses by writing them down or recording them in an app. This will allow you to have an accurate picture of where all of your money is going. Second, be sure to separate your expenses into different categories so that you can easily identify areas where you may be overspending or underspending. Finally, it is important to review your expenses periodically, at least once per month, so that you can make changes as needed and spot any negative trends in your spending habits. Make a budget plan. Budgeting may seem like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. By taking some time to sit down and understand your spending habits, you can easily create a budget that works for you. Here are a few tips to get started. Figure out what your regular expenses are. This includes things like rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, and debt payments. Write down everything you spend money on in a month, so you have a clear picture of your spending patterns. Determine your income. This includes all sources of income, such as your job, investments, or government benefits. Be sure to include after-tax income so you can get an accurate picture of your budget. Compare your expenses to your income. This will help you figure out how much money you have left over each month after covering your essential expenses. If you find that you're spending more than you're bringing in, consider ways to cut back on non-essential expenses. Create a budget plan. Once you know how much money you have to work with each month, you can start putting together a budget plan. Decide how much you want to save each month and put that money into savings first. Then, stick to your budget plan. Budgeting can be a daunting task, especially if you're not used to tracking your expenses. However, sticking to a budget is essential if you want to get your finances in order. The first step is to figure out what your regular monthly expenses are. This includes fixed costs like rent or mortgage payments, as well as variable expenses like groceries, utility bills, and transportation costs. Once you know how much you're spending each month, you can start to create a budget plan. First, determine what your financial goals are. Then, decide how much money you need to save each month to reach those goals. Finally, adjust your spending habits accordingly. If necessary, cut back on unnecessary expenses to free up more money for savings. By following these simple tips, you can stick to your budget and achieve your financial goals.